Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to talk about how widespread sexual misconduct is in Norfolk Police. Now, going through some news reports, I found this story on the 7th of November 2021. So I thought this would give us some sort of idea. Apart from the Met, no police force in this country has had as many bad headlines in recent weeks about their officers' conduct as Norfolk. So, you know, one Norfolk officer is under investigation for being part of a WhatsApp group with a policeman who killed Sarah Everard, Wayne Cousins. That group allegedly shared vile content. 2 other Norfolk officers have been jailed in the last month for child sexual offences. Police, stop doing this. You're the ones supposed to be, looking after the community, looking after vulnerable people. You need to start doing your job properly. You know, Chief Constable Paul Sanford, you need to take action now. Not, how long has this been going on for? I mean, what, 2-3 decades? When are you going to get your fingers from up your bums and sort it out? It's also revealed that officers were getting abuse from the public over what happened to Sarah Everard. Well, what do you expect? The woman got killed by someone who's supposed to be a police officer. I mean, diplomatic corps. Surely they're supposed to have a very high security clearance to get that job. So how many, psychiatric assessments and things like that did Wayne Cousins have to go through to get into the diplomatic corps? Come on. We understand the frustration from the public. Well, yeah, of course we're frustrated. These are the people that are supposed to be protecting us, and they're not. We recognise policing has to improve. However, the overwhelming majority of police officers and staff come to work because they want to make their communities better, and it's very difficult for them. Well, okay then, if you want to make your communities better, then why don't you let, some of us YouTubers come out on ride-alongs and do videos why you're trying to do this, to show this. But no, you won't do that. You won't let people follow you about with a camera unless it's Channel 5, where you can control what they put out there. Because you can't, because Norfolk Police and the rest of the police in this country can't control what we put out there, they won't let us do it. So, if you want transparency, Norfolk Police, whatever police force, then contact us and we'll come out with you and we'll do a night with you and show how you're behaving. But no, you won't do that because too many of your officers won't stick to the rules and get rid of this badge that they've got, as we call it, the gang badge. Then on Thursday in November, former PC Neil Porter from Watton was in prison for 2 years for taking pictures on his mobile phone of sexual acts with a 14-year-old boy. 2 years? Get more than that for drugs. Sort these sentences out, man. These are people who are molesting our children. Sort it out. Because if you do not help the children, then you are going to be out of a job soon. Because the communities ain't going to want to pay for a police service that's doing all this. I'll tell you that right now. Policing has to look at how people like Wayne Cousins, Porter and Ice don't get anywhere near a uniform. Yeah, you need to stop them. You need to do rigorous more checks. I mean, how many police officers are out there with criminal records? I mean, I know in Norfolk there's something like somewhere between 3 and 10 police officers with criminal records, and they still work for Norfolk Police. I bet you if I applied for a job with Norfolk Police, you wouldn't take me. Asked how that can happen, he added, "It's really difficult. We have stopped 130 people joining us in the last couple of years, mainly for previous convictions, but that doesn't tell you what someone is going to be like in the future." No, it doesn't. But you're asking people to uphold a moral compass that's above the rest of us. Yeah? And you can't do that if you can't be going out and arresting someone when you've broken that law yourself. Whatever law it may be, because you don't tell us what these laws that have been broken are. I mean, maybe if you're more transparent with why these officers have a criminal record to the communities, then maybe we could then turn around and say, well, okay, that's a minor shoplifting stupid offence, or, you know, criminal damage offence or something like that. Then the communities could turn around and say, well, okay, that's a minor offence. But we don't even know what these criminal records are. So, you know, what are you going to do? How are you going to put the faith back into your communities? Because I know Norfolk police officers watch my channel. So, one of you, tell your chief superintendent, tell Paul Stanford to contact me, and I'll speak to him. Love to do an interview with him. The force has confidential reporting line, which Chief Constable Stanford says officers were using. Well then, officers, if you see something being done wrong, then use the line. Because I'll tell you now, if I catch you on video, it will go online, and it will go to Professional Standards Department. And you never know when I'm out and about, because I come out at all different hours of the day and night. We have a workforce which doesn't want this kind of behaviour, he added. I joined police in the end of the 90s, and the culture has moved on immensely. Well, it needs to move on a lot more. Chief Constable Stanford stressed the Porter Ice cases were very rare. Right. But these cases are just worst examples of police behaviour. Yeah, it probably is the worst examples. But like you would investigate us, the public, yeah, we think that somebody should be looking into your officers now for anything. Everything that they've done in the last however long they've been in their career should be scrutinised again by somebody else. And preferably a community group will be better than the police doing it. Because at least then they're outside the police. They're outside of everywhere. So once a case is done and dusted, then you should let members of the public come in to your station, look at what your evidence was, check what went to the courts, check what has happened, and make sure that everything's been done correctly. And then you could turn around and say, if someone tries to go for an appeal, well, hang on, this has been checked by XYZ of the public, and by the prosecution, and by the court system, and it's been rechecked after that by these members of the public to make sure we've done everything right. And then you might just, you know, save some of these appeals. You know, cases they investigate can be passed on to Independent Office of Police Conduct. Yeah, but the Independent Office of Police Conduct don't do a lot. Look at some of the misconduct hearings that you hear about. I mean, they're getting suspended sentences for child offences, child sexual offences, and they get 2 years suspended sentence. 2 years suspended sentence. 2 years. These are the people we want off the streets. You know, put the shoplifters back on the streets and lock the sucking sex offenders up. Because I tell you what, you need these sex offenders off our streets. Before someone decides to take it into their own hands and start taking these sex offenders off the streets. Because We want them off the streets. Altogether, sex offenders off our streets. When it comes to sexual misconduct, 28 allegations were made against Norfolk police officers in the past 5 years, according to a Freedom of Information request. That includes complaints from their own staff and the public. Of those, 8 led to misconduct hearings and 2 resulted in the officers being dismissed. Another 2 officers resigned prior to misconduct hearings and would have been dismissed had they not resigned, police said. Right, stop letting your officers resign before misconduct hearings. Because that's how they're getting away with it. They're using loopholes in the law. Cut that loophole off. Stop letting them resign first. Because then they're keeping their pensions because they've resigned before the misconduct hearing. Right? If an officer is under investigation, they should not be allowed to resign. Simple as that. Complaints include sexual harassment, inappropriate touching, and comments. Officers, when you're on shift, behave like you are an officer and not like you're some horny teenager. Simple as that. One officer used the police computer system to pursue a personal relationship. They resigned in 2019 before misconduct hearing could be held. Again, they accessed the police computer. Now, when we're doing audits outside police stations, one of the things that they come up with is the fact of the private registrations. Yeah? The only way we could get access to your private registrations that you keep going on about is by getting a police officer to access them. Not that we would, because we're not interested in your private registrations. But that is the only way we could get any information other than your tax, MOT, and maybe if we went on last mid we could find out if you were insured. But that's about it. Right? That's all the information we can get. And stop these illegal number plates on your police officers' cars as well. Right? When all your officers are on shift, wherever they park their cars, send one of your sergeants or your inspectors to have a look at the registrations and make sure they conform. Because police officers should be held at a higher standard. Sorry everyone, I've got to pause for a second. Hi guys, sorry about that. I just had a bit of a chesty cough there. Right. Another had sex while on duty in 2018 and was given a final written warning. Nothing about who he had sex with. Was it another officer? And if so, why was she not brought up on this? And if it wasn't another officer, then who was it? A vulnerable member of the public, and you just don't want it out there. One misconduct hearing was held in September for a former officer for inappropriate behaviour towards a female colleague. Again, officers, stop being randy teenagers. Yeah, when you're off duty, ask these ladies if they'd like to go for a drink or whatever. But when you're on duty, do not do nothing. Act like you're celibate, for crying out loud. The 28 allegations involved a very small population of staff, with the constabulary employing around 1,500 officers. Chief Constable Stanford said some of the allegations were proven immediately false. Okay, yeah, you do get false allegations. I admit that as well. But, you know, you don't get as many false allegations as what you would imagine, because your sergeants are probably winding them up before they get there. Again, if it is a sexual case, it should go to the chief constable to investigate himself, or to professional standards, or again get a public group of counsellors, members of the public, YouTubers as well, you know, and let them help you with this sort of stuff, because we are the people that will find it. The nature of policing is that sometimes people make allegations which are not exactly true. Okay, yeah, there are people who do that, but again, they need investigating properly, and while you're investigating that, make sure you check their phones, their tablets, their laptops, because how many officers recently have been found with indecent images on these devices? I mean, some of them have been found with them on police devices, crying out loud. The man responsible for holding Norfolk Constabulary to account, Police and Crime Commissioner Giles Oaken-Smythe, declined to be interviewed for this article. Well, obviously he's not going to want to be interviewed because he doesn't want everyone to know he's not doing his job properly. You know, again, Crime Commissioner, contact us. Let's talk. Because I'll send you the link, if you like, to the video so you can watch it. It's your choice. But last month, the horrific death of Sarah Everard has drawn attention not just to despicable actions of one police officer. But we're not saying it's just one police officer. Look how many people are in the WhatsApp group with him. Come on. There's a lot more out there. You can't tell me that you've cleaned up your forces. They are not clean. You need to go through it like you would if you were coming after one of us. Your officers need to be investigated and checked out. Every one of them needs to. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to prove to the public and put some public trust back into your forces over sexual misconduct. Right? You're not going to obliterate it, but you are going to be able to help. The vast majority of police officers have best intentions of the public at heart, but sadly get tarnished by a small majority. Yeah, again, that's true, completely true. But you need to get rid of that small minority, and then that will show the rest of your officers that you're not going to stand for this. You know what I mean? Some of the offences that your officers are going to court for and getting suspended sentences. Hypothetically, if a member of the public went for the same offence as what some of your officers have gone for, and you can look at court records to prove this, a member of the public gets a lot sterner sentence than police officers do. 90% of the time when police officers end up in court, they get suspended sentences or very small sentences. So you need to toughen up the sentences for police officers. Again, just my thoughts, but, you know. Does police misconduct process work? Complaints about police misconduct are initially dealt with by the force themselves. Again, stop dealing with this by yourselves, forces, because that's where you're looking like you're being corrupt. You need to put this out for somebody else to investigate that's separate from the force. And it needs to be a separate organisation to the police force that have the same rights as the police officers, but have nothing to do with the force. It's completely separate. And not the IOPCC, because they're not completely separate. Right? They have meetings with the chief superintendents, the chief constables. I mean, Christ, you've got a chief inspector at King's Lynn who should be up on misconduct charges and won't even give an interview. So, you know, and that's D.I. Amy Abbs. I'm coming to see you soon because I want an interview over what you've done to D.S. Matthew Abbs, his ex-girlfriend, over the COVID fines. I'm telling you now, we are going to have an interview. All of us. Me, you and Matthew Abbs. Because we are going to sort this out on camera as well. So we will be getting that interview one way or another. Even if I have to come and stand outside that station all day until you come out of it. I will get that interview. they can refer complaints to the National Police Watchdog, the IOPCC. Some allegations are automatically referred to the watchdog. All allegations of sexual misconduct, whether they're proven or not, should be referred to somebody else, because the IOPCC don't do their job. They don't investigate properly. If they did, then they'd be sorting half these cases out. Since 2015, these have been held in public with the aim of making the process more transparent. Journalists can attend and often report on the hearings. Right, okay, we can attend, but I bet we can't video it. So maybe if you could open this up to the public, then you should allow recording of these meetings. And when you do, contact me and I'll come along and I'll record them for you. And I'll put them on all the channels. However, in some cases, the misconduct panel will order the officer's name not be published. Again, yeah, you should not give these officers anonymity by not publishing their names. Because if I find out their names, I will publish them. Whether you put a gagging order on the rest of the press or not, I will publish the names that I find out. Because I do not believe in these police officers getting anonymity. No way. If they've done wrong and you are convicting them of that offence, okay, give them anonymity until they're convicted of the offence, because it may be proven that it wasn't them or whatever. But once they are convicted, that name goes out. One way or another, that name will go out. Believe me, because if I don't find it, there's 10, 12, 15, 30, hundreds more people out there that will. The panel hears evidence from both sides and decides if the case against the officer has been proven. If it has, they decide what the officer's punishment should be, varying from dismissal for most serious offences to training and written warnings. Right, serious offences, automatic dismissal and loss of pension. And another thing, you do not let them retire or put in their papers, leave the force while they are waiting charge, because when they do that, they end up taking their pension with them. And that's the thing that you need to do to stop these officers, is you need to go, right, you're going to get done for a serious offence on misconduct, we're taking your pension, we're taking the lot, leave them with nothing, because that's the way you do it if it was a member of the public. So do it to your officers. Training and written warnings depends on the offence, but considering I've seen things in the news of police officers kicking 15-year-old girls, okay, yeah, the girl shouldn't have been, well, she was trying to help a friend, which, okay, I don't agree with that, because her friend was trying to be arrested, but her friend had a great big copper on top of her. She's probably 15, 16 herself, and he's got her around the neck. So, you've got to look at it that way as well. The officer had her round the throat. If he'd have been trying to handcuff her, then probably the girl wouldn't have got involved. But then she gets kicked in the kidneys, I think it was, and the head, or was it the head? I know her head nearly bashed off a scaffold bar, and I remember watching the video. So, and I bet that officer weren't up on misconduct. No, that wouldn't have happened. So, that completes our story for today. Again, this is a story from November, the 7th of November 2021. Police, you need to sort this out, because if you don't, the public are going to lose all confidence in you. And then we're going to be going to MPs and saying to them, look, we have no confidence in the police service. We need to change it. And members of Parliament, contact us. Let's see if we can work together and get this out and sorted. Because if not, you're going to lose thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, guys. Is that what you really want? Keep losing money? That money could be used for crime prevention rather than paying out people. So let's sort out these misconducts, let's get them stopped, and let's sort the police force out and show these bad officers that are out there that this won't be tolerated anymore. Simple as that. We will not tolerate police officers not doing their duty and not knowing what their rules and regulations are. When an officer comes up to you and says, I want your name, they should know that you have committed a offence, or not suspect, or have reasonable grounds to arrest you for an offence, right? But when you are found that they are arresting you because you've got a camera, then sorry, but no way should you be arrested for that. So come on, police forces all over the country, not just Norfolk, but I could go online right now and find 50 stories about every different force there is. So it's not, this isn't just Norfolk, this is all police forces. And, you know, I support a guy called Pap, who is a very good friend of mine. I think the guy's great. I'll always go to him for advice, but I'm just fed up of always hearing about misconduct hearings, deaths in custody. I mean, I have a file somewhere hidden about deaths in custody, so soon I will be doing a report on that. So, you know, there is a story to come there, because another thing I'm not happy with is people dying in custody suites. And when I go through this report and I find out where each one of these people died, I'm going to try and find out why they died. Was it medical? Was it police? Was it a bar fight? Was it a fight? Was it an assault? You know, were they the actual victim and you let the victim go? Which I've seen happen dozens of times. So, guys, sort yourselves out, right? Police forces of this country, sort it out, or we will sort it out for you, one way or another, right? Either you sort it out, or we will start investigating your police officers ourselves. And you really won't want that, because your police officers will try and use some stupid offence on us. But if we have to start investigating police officers to get this job done of stopping sexual misconduct and assault on public, then we will. Because every time I record it, I will send that to the local professional standards department. But I will also upload it online. So, you do something in front of me, telling you now, you're going online. And that's police forces of the country. Be warned. I will be out there. And I will put you online if I see you causing a misconduct in public. Right? And there will not be any blur in your faces. Right? I will tell you that now. I will not be blurring faces of people causing misconduct. So, police forces of the country, you can take me to court, I'll attend court. And I will tell the courts exactly why I will not blur the faces. So, you want to go for a court order? Call me. I'll attend the court. And I'll tell the judge exactly why I do not want to put their faces blurred. And that is because they are the ones causing the misconduct. And that is it. Any other officer, if you get your registration or anything, contact me. I'll blur it out for you. But other than that, no way. But if I catch you for a misconduct and then I catch you in your car, that plate's not getting blurred. And neither's your face. And if you stay on the force, I'll follow you about until I get you again. So, stop causing misconduct, Norfolk Police and the rest of police forces in the country. Bye.